I'm just using my primary colors of red, yellow, and blue, and I have some white and burnt umber, but you can use black with that if you want. So all you really need for this painting is a flat brush, synthetic, about a size 12. A small bristle brush so we can punch on some flowers there, some trees, the little tree there. See how it's opened? And a small flat chiseled edge brush. Try to do the windows with that. Now I might end up using another method, but I'm going to try it with this flat chiseled edge brush. So let's get our sky started. Alright, so we're going to do our sky here, and even though we're doing a sky here, we're going to do the whole background, and then we're going to put our houses, but we need our little tree and things like that. So, but let's just get a blue background on there. See, so for the sky I'm just going to use some white, a bit of blue, a little bit of burnt umber, just to gray it up a little bit. You can use a little bit of black if you like, just get kind of a grayish blue. Alright, maybe even a little bit of red. I don't know, just something to, there we go, that's nice, isn't it? Now it's too much in there, so don't do what I did. Right, I keep adding too much red because red is so dominant. You don't even realize it till you start adding it, so very, very little. If you get too much, just do what I did, just move away from it, okay? So let's just start off with this much first. Nice light blue sky with a little bit of a grayish look to it. So start your sky with your blue. It's a light blue with a little hint of a grayish tone to it, or a little bit of purple. It's up to you. But I'm just going to make a nice blue, light blue sky with those colors that we mixed together. And get that whole, we're going to do the whole thing here. And as we go down closer to the horizon line, we will lighten it up a bit more, okay? So just keep going back and forth with your synthetic brush, okay? Just back and forth. Let's get the top done first. Sometimes I run off, and see how I ran off into the distance there. So you could do that too if you want, as long as you get it all together. As long as you make it nice and soft and smooth, okay? So you don't want your lines all over the place, right? So just go back and forth and back and forth. There we go. There we go. They can be short strokes or long strokes. Anything, and as while it's wet, just go back and forth over those strokes again, just so you can soften them up, okay? So keep it going. There we go. Just add a little bit. I'm adding a little tiny bit of color, but I'm not worried about it because the houses are going to be going up over most of that. Just want to make sure that the top part's nice, all right, and the sides, because you're going to see the sky on the sides here too. Okay. Now you can leave out the part where you're going to put your houses, but I just like to have. Now I add a little bit too much blue there. That's no big deal. There we go. Just add more white. I just like to do it this way. You can do it whatever way you want. You can draw on your houses first if you want, all right, and then you can do your sky around it. But then you might get into the houses. It might get a little complicated, or it might just get a little frustrating. So just do your background sky first. It's the easiest way out. I always try to make easy, breezy tips for you. It's a bit light down here, so I'm adding more white just to keep it brighter down here. Because the sky usually gets lighter as it hits the horizon, doesn't it? Alright. Good. Alright, so you can add more sky to the top if you like. There we go. So there we go. You can add a little more color if you like, whatever you want to do. I'm just showing you different ways you can make your sky, which is nice like that. To add more white if you got too much of one color that you don't want. Alright, so just blue and white with a little bit of red. I'm just adding a little bit of color up here because I kind of like the sky to have a little bit more extra colors in it. You look at the sky sometimes and it's all kinds of colors, the purples and pinks. Nice, alright. That's better. Good. Get some more white over here with that color. When you add white to your brush, it makes your paint more slippery and it'll move around more, okay? So we're not going to use magic white today because I want it to dry fast, because I want to get those houses on there for you. So that's a nice, I mean, you can barely see it because there's not much color there, but that's the way it would be nice. That's the way I like it. And like I said, if you want a darker sky, you can certainly add, you know, a darker color to it. Pretty. All right. Let's do some clouds. I'm just going to use the same brush. I'm going to put the corner of my brush in some paint. Just dipping my brush in the corner of my brush in the paint. Now my brush is dirty, which is good because that's the way I want it. And then I'm just going to make some little puffy clouds. Make a line, all right, like that. Just make a line, and then tap on the top. You'll get nice little fluffy clouds, see? So make a line first. This will help you, because I know there's times it's a bit hard. Just go line like that first, and then tap on top of that line, and you'll get all these cute little fluffy clouds, see? All right. Get another one over here, wherever you want them, okay? I'm just trying to make sure I leave enough room for the houses. So when you put the house in, you can still see your clouds. If you end up covering up your clouds, you can always put some back in. So just tap in the corner of your brush and then tap on that line that you made. If you go under the line, that's fine. Clouds are all over the place. They don't have to have a straight line. But it's always good to get started that way, see? And then you can tap on your top. Tap, 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 tap. All right. Good. So you come out a bit more just to make it look like a cloud that's moving around the sky. Good. You can have as many of those as you want. So you can just take your brush, put on a line, and then tap on the top. See? I like to bring it out a little bit on the edges here just to make it look like it's floating around the sky. Now when they dry, we can add more tops to those. So I'm going to leave that because I want to get the houses up, over, and down. Alright, so I want to make sure the house, I want to leave some room on the sides here for a little tree. I want to put a couple of little, I want to add a little bit of water, I think, down here. Maybe, I don't know. There's a couple of hills back here, you know, in the background. So the houses are in front of probably a little ocean and some cliffs. I don't know. Just trying to see now. I'm trying to make up my mind. So I'm just going to take some of my burnt umber. I'm using the same brush again. My burnt umber. And some yellow. And some white. I lightened up a little bit. And then, so lighten it up to about, there we go. Add more white and get it to that color, okay? I think that might be okay. And our houses are going to go about here. So about here. So we'll add a straight line, like that. And then we will add a hump. And we will add a little shadow. We will add some color on the inside, and then we'll put some more color on it in a little while. Straighten it up a little bit there. Leave that there like that. Maybe there's another one on the other side. So come over. Make sure you leave lots of room. Make a hump. Fill it in. Move it out a little bit if you like, just to give more shape. Fill it in a bit more. Okay, that's better. That's better. And now maybe there is some water down here. You know, let's just use our imagination. So clean off your brush because it's got brown on it. And then I'm just going to add some blue on the tip of my brush and a little bit of white on the tip of my brush. More blue on one side and white on the other. And on with the brown side down, with the blue side down, we're just going to add some streaks of water. So we'll pretend we had a little ocean back here. So we just need a straight line going over. And then we will add our, add a little more white. You got lots of blue, we don't need much more blue. Alright. See, the white will give you a little bit of wavy look to your, right, because the paint is still wet, see? So I've been using the same brush for everything, so I'm going to use some of my burnt umber, just a little bit on the corner there, just so that I can decide where I want some shadows. Let's see. I'm not sure. I'm going to start at the top. And I'm going to drag a little bit at the top. And then I'm just going to, I'm just guessing now. Just kind of experimenting the way I want it. Not really sure. I know for sure I want dark underneath here, but I like to lighten it up on top more. So I'm going to start at the bottom this time. I know, I just like to experiment, you know, see what works best. Okay, that works better. If you work on the bottom, leave shadow on the bottom and leave the top nice and bright like that, that works better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of white on my corner of my brush to get some of this light back. So start at the bottom and then leave your bottom nice and dark, and then your top with some highlights. That gives it a better look to it then. And your heels, that would be nice. You can use black. Well, I'd rather use burnt umber because it's a nice color. Just you putting little crevices in here. Just little shadow parts, that's all. There we go. A few little crevices in here. Gives it more of a realistic look. Right. Just pretend you're making branches on a tree. Yeah, lots of techniques. You can use them in different places. There we go, that's that much done. Now let's take this off. And we will now add, let's see. Well, maybe now we will put this back on. Make it kind of like a sidewalk, I guess. And you can use the same brush if you like, or a smaller flat brush. Smaller, as long as you clean your brush off. Okay, I'm just going to use the same one because I got a chiseled edge, so I can go on the chisel edge. Like if I did it this way, it might be a little too wide. So I'm just going to use my burnt umber. I'm going to use burnt umber on one corner, and let's see, some yellow, and some white. Alright, so I just dipped into my burnt umber on one side, a little bit of yellow here, and a little bit of white. See, I like separating my colors, because then you get to separate them on your canvas, right? See, look, see what happens? Alright, so let's go here. The houses are going to be there, but that's okay. Alright, so I'm just going to put that on there like that. Using my chiseled edge to go up around that bluish color there. If it's still wet and it comes down into that, that's okay. That looks good. Alright, so a bit of burnt umber, a little bit of yellow, and a little bit of white. Opposite sides. I'm going to put the light color down first. Like that. And then the dark will mix in with it. But see how it's all separating? If you've seen that without me showing you what to do, you'd be like, how did you get those colors to separate like that? And that's how you do it. That's how I do it. Okay? So that's kind of nice. Now, I'm going to take that tape off. Now I'm going to kind of make a roadway or something, you know, just maybe a roadway in some way. I'm going to make kind of a grayish color, which is my burnt umber. some blue. What else? What else can we do? Burnt umber, some blue, and a little bit of red. Just trying to get kind of a grayish, brownish color. That's not bad. I like that. Now see how I didn't totally mix it. I kind of, because that'll mix here. Now that's kind of too blue for me. So let's see. I'm going to go with burnt umber and white. There we go. That's better. I might lighten that up a little bit with some white. See, I don't mind the colors being all over the place. They'll mix up on your canvas. I'm going to add a bit of yellow to that. See what that does. I'm just experimenting now. Look at that. Kind of a greenish color though. I'm trying to get a bit of a grayish color. Nice. So pick up some of your colors. I'm getting more burnt umber. And with lots of paint on your brush, it'll be smooth for you. Right? If you have a little bit of paint on your brush, you're going to get like that, okay? It's just going to be hard, like you'll be like, paint won't come off your brush. But if you got lots of paint, like pick up a load of burnt umber and a load of white, like tons of it, right? Because you're doing a large area, and it'll just go so smooth. It blends so nicely, right? Because it's all wet, see? So we'll get up underneath here. It's just a walkway or roadway. It's probably too big. I probably should have made it smaller, but that's okay. Because you can always then, if you want to yourself, maybe you could add a few things there. Maybe a little dog walking down the street, or someone on a bicycle riding past the houses, or something like that. You know, you can do whatever you want with it. You'll have that option. Alright, so let's get that up underneath here. Use your chiseled edge to get that there. I'm running out of paint, so I'll pick up some more paint. Get the chiseled edge up against here. Flip it around because I got more paint on it. So you can use whatever colors you want. You can look up some pictures of sidewalks, and you know, you can have cobblestones here. Whatever you want, okay? It could be whatever you want. Good. Now I'm going to go full dark. Some blue and burnt umber. And on my chiseled edge, make sure it's chiseled. And I'm just going to put a shadow underneath that sidewalk there, the little walkway or whatever it is, on my chiseled edge. If you have a problem keeping a straight line, you can use tape after it dries. So then you can just take your brush then and smooth it so that that line blends in with the rest of the sidewalk, but yet you still got your shadow underneath there. All right, there we go. Kind of separates it from the here, right? So now when that dries, while we're waiting for it to dry, why don't we add a little tree? Now I'm going to use the same brush. I'm not changing brushes because you don't need to if the brush will do. These chiseled edge brushes are amazing. You can do a lot of things with these. You can use one brush for everything, you know, sometimes. So I'm just going to use my burnt umber, and I'm going to pick up my burnt umber, get a chiseled edge. Chiseled edge. Okay, be careful. I'm picking up some paint I don't want. Alright, so get a chiseled edge. Chiseled, I hope. And I'm going to pick a spot for my tree. I want to make sure I get enough room for the houses. Let's say the houses go here, like between those two hills. So we have lots of room now for a tree and a pole. So let's go with our tree. Our tree will probably go up to here. The houses are probably going to go nice ways up. So think about where your houses are going to end. So your tree will probably be around that same area. So we'll just take our chiseled edge and make that there, that trunk. Doesn't have to be real wide. Okay. Make sure it's chiseled, because you'll get frustrated if you don't get those lines proper. So we're going to make some branches coming off. Just come out from that trunk. If you're having a problem with this, just go get a liner brush. Alright, because we want to make some of these so we'll know where our leaves are going to go. Okay. So, good. So now we probably do need to transfer to a liner brush so we get some nice thin branches. There we go. Now take your liner brush, get a long one if you have the longest one you have on hand, and then you can take some of these branches off. Makes it a bit easier, right? There we go. Okay. That's good. That should do it. So now we'll just put some leaves on there. We won't put any big, heavy, thick leaves. Just enough to cover those nice little branches. So I'm just going to use a small chiseled edge brush, because that's a pretty small tree. And I'm going to make a green color. Now you can put any green on your palette. I only use my primary colors in burnt umber and white, but you can use your green and your browns, right? Whatever you got there. But I'm going to make my own green. Okay, it's a nice little green. So I just got that's opened up there. It's chiseled. So I'm sorry, it's bristle. Bristle. Don't use a chisel edge. You won't be able to get that pouncy look, right? You won't be able to get those leaves. All right. So just move around there. Just going to tap on some more. Just making my green, and I'm just going to tap gently till I get some nice leaves. So use those branches that we made to guide you, all right? There we go. See, that will guide you. And you got a few little leaves here. And that should do it. You don't need a lot. It's a cute little tree, isn't it? Good. Lovely. All right, that's cute. And now we might want to put a couple little highlights on it. Not much, but a little bit of yellows. Not much, just to give it a bit of a layered look. So I'm just going to clean my brush, and I'm going to go into my yellow. I'm squishing it around so I can get it to open up. And then I'm just going to tap on top of some of those that we did. So we'll just take that down here, clean it up. Today I have some really exciting news for you, and what I want to tell you is that I have launched my Patreon page. And my Patreon page, I did it so that you guys could get early access to my new upcoming $1 a month. You can have access to all my upcoming videos, and they're full
videos. Some are an hour, some are 2 hours, and ad-free, and I have the patterns here for you, and I have a lot of other perks too. So I'll leave the link to my Patreon page down below, and then you can go in and visit my page, become my Patreon, and then you'll have access to all my paintings.